folks. I'm just backing away from my mooring site for the night. For once, the morning is calm. I'm stuck here. Try to turn it on an angle. It's stuck pretty good. I try to stick it pretty good just so that it won't move on me when I'm tying up the shore, because a lot of times I'm busy at that point and it takes me several minutes to drill the augers into the ground to get secured. Together with a little bit of power on to keep it on shore, it usually is fine as long as I stick it pretty good in the mud. But getting out sometimes is difficult. Stirred up a little mud from the bottom back there. So. Quiet morning. I put on an extra layer of clothes this time so I don't get so cold. Although it's warmer without the breeze. And I think it's also about 5 degrees warmer than yesterday morning. I'll watch my map here and I'll run aground. I'll show you where I was at last night. Coming out of there right now. Whoop. Forgot to hit the start button. There's no track. That's a mistake. I do that quite often. If I don't turn everything on, I need it right away before I go. So now you can see the track. That was actually right in that area. Put the pedal to the metal here. I'm not going as far today. I think forget what it was, about 7 miles, 7 or 8, maybe, to the actual anchorage. I'm close enough now that I'm within reach if the weather changes, so I'm not as concerned as I was. For a while there, I was moving 10 miles every day just to make sure that I beat the wind, because it's been a lot of wind. Today it's starting out again with a little bit of blue in the sky, but the last few days it's clouded up right away later on in the afternoon. So it's been kind of a mixed bag. It was very pleasant last night though, and I sat out on the aft deck for a long time. I watched some of the local wildlife do their thing. It was interesting because I saw maybe 25 boats at least on Sunday, so there had to have been some kind of tournament. I haven't seen a boat since. And that was kind of the case before, just that one weekend there. So they must have had something going on. I switched tanks last night from the number 1 main to the number 2 main. Trying to burn up the fuel there because I think I need to remove those tanks and turn the fittings around. I don't know if I can do that. I'll have to write to Scepter and find out. It just makes it real difficult to get the hose connected because it's underneath the deck and hard to reach. If I turned it around 180 degrees, it'd make it a lot easier to get to. But I don't know if I can do that without messing up the float and some other kind of mechanism that's in the tank. So we'll see. Anyway, so I'm trying to burn up the fuel in that number 2 tank. That way, the other one I tried last night to move a little bit. I think I can get it out of there. It's got to be kind of not empty, but nearly empty to get them out. They're just too heavy when they're full of fuel. Cramped, tight space that they're in. So. Fortunately, the sun's out, flat seas, kind of day that you enjoy. And I feel a little warmer today with that extra layer of clothing on. A little too close to shore here, so I've got to be careful. still about 25 feet though, so probably okay. Just coming into the spot here, trying to get around that little bend there. I think there should be a spot on the other side. It's kind of a nice anchorage. At least it looks at this point. We'll see. Sometimes you got to get in here a ways and look at what you actually have. But there should be a finger off to the right there. We still got 25 feet of water here, so we're plenty deep. We'll try to get around that bend off to the right there. See if we can't find a spot. If we get behind that, then we're really protected from the wind, although there's doesn't look like there's going to be any forecast for tonight or even tomorrow. A little more breeze in midday tomorrow, but nothing significant. Just going to go around this corner. Oh yeah, there's a little ice protection back there. Much better spot than what I've had previously sometimes. So 15 feet of water. Right, where do we go? No, that's the question. We don't want too steep. It's too hard to get up. Just drift here a little bit. Let me look around. Maybe straight ahead there might work. It's shallower faster though. We're 10 feet here. I think that spot right ahead of me. There's a little slope, then it tends to be a little drier and not so muddy. Okay, you've got 9 feet here. Okay. A little pressure on so it doesn't go anywhere. It says 4.2 feet at the stern, so that's okay. You can see the motor. I've got just a little bit of power on the motor. See the wash back there. Well, I finally arrived. I did get 2 drone shots in that took 2 batteries in order to get the job done. I used up a little bit too much of the first battery, I think, trying to get set up, and so it cut me short. Didn't get the bow line tied, so I had to set up another one before I could tie up. Then I had to back away, and it takes time to do that, to make it look like how you would approach and how you would tie up as you come in. I think I got it on video with the drone, but it was a little work. And since I was out flying around, I went ahead and tied up and then flew the last battery. Just did some goofing around here and taking some pictures. So it's still fairly calm. There was a little breeze coming up just as I approached the second time, enough to kick me the stern down a little bit further away than I wanted, but that's okay. It worked out. I just tightened the line on the starboard side a little bit to straighten the boat back out. So it's relaxed time. I need to decide whether or not to stay a couple days here. I've got several days left yet, and I could spend 1 night or 2 nights at one place if I want to. This is such a nice place, I may stay, because it's surrounded pretty much by hills, so I'm protected from wind on all directions. I'm in a nice secure anchorage where there's not going to be any wave action. I've learned my lesson the hard way before, so it has some potential for some hiking, and we'll see what that plays out to be. Well, folks, I'm just enjoying the stern deck here this afternoon, having a glass of wine, and just had a snack. Went up the hill earlier and checked things out from the bird's eye view. It was quite a view. I walked up enough that I could see out into the main lake, and a good overview of the whole area here for probably a mile around. Looking for cows to see if there's any cattle around, but there isn't that I could see. Although I see a lot of fences, sign, and a big water tank up on one hill here. Otherwise, it's been quiet. I haven't seen anything moving. Hear the meadowlarks all the time, occasionally red-winged blackbirds. I saw 1 fishing boat today. That's about it. And you can probably hear those meadowlarks. They're pretty noisy. Anyway, it's really pleasant. The cloud cover that I thought was moving in from the southeast dissipated, and now we have puffy clouds. Very nice summer day. Quite a contrast with what I've been seeing for the last few days. So it's warming up. It might get too warm according to the forecast. By the weekend it might get pretty hot, so that's not good. But and also wet on the days that I'm trying to pull the boat and drive home. Driving doesn't matter too much, but I was a little concerned about pulling the boat out. I'd prefer to have certainly a rainy day. If it's just a chance of, then that's probably, I could deal with that. My solar system's working really well. I wanted to have good results over a longer period of time, like 2 weeks, where I can use the refrigeration without worry. Now granted, this time of the year, this is late May, the sun angles are really premium right now, so I'm probably getting optimum performance. The best, of course, is in June, but I'm thinking the fall is going to be the real test when we get into fall sun angles, which are pretty low in the sky compared to this time of year. So we'll see how that works out. But so far it's working very well. In fact, I've shifted a lot of my recharging of secondary batteries like drones and camera batteries and such, navigational tablet, stuff like that, to the main solar battery, because I've got a premium of power there. So rather than suck down my house batteries, I've been using the solar battery. So that's really a benefit to having an overabundance of solar panel wattage, where I'm really collecting a lot of sunlight. Anyway, that's an update. We'll talk to you later. Hello folks, it's afternoon now, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Just finished a shower. I set up the shower here on the aft deck, and it's a portable arrangement. It's not up all the time, it's just when I need it, and or you can use it. Usually I wait for a warmer day, and also with calm winds if possible. There was a little breeze, but I went ahead and fired it up anyway, and because it's been a few days since I've had a shower, so felt good. Everything's been stowed away. Now I'm just killing some time here until dinner. I'm doing steak tonight, some tenderloin, so I'll do that on the grill, and along with some potatoes, what else? Salad, roll, and red wine. So that's what's ahead. All right, taking a hike up the mountain for the evening sunset, carrying my chair and scope, binoculars, camera, some water, emergency beacon, and other supplies. I'm going to take my time getting up there so I don't get all sweaty, because I just showered. That's where I'm headed. The breeze dropped, so it's kind of warm, especially carrying a load. I think I went up this way before. I've been up once. I should minimize the slope. My hope is to glass the slopes in this time before sunset. See if I see any critters. But even with maybe 15, 20 pounds on my back, it's still a bit much for an old guy. I keep watching for rattlesnakes. Haven't seen any. Here's kind of surrounding area. In this fine evening. Not sure what the elevation is. I'm guessing 350, 400 feet above where the boat is. I'm using a chest mount. A lot of cactus, so I decided to wear my hiking boots, protect my feet. Here's the main lake on this fine evening, and I'm out of breath. 73-year-old guy, not used to climbing like this. All right, but here's my perch, highest elevation around here, so there you can see the boat down over the hill. That's what I just climbed. So I'll just perch right here and let you pan around here and see what you see. This is what my view is. All right, I'm just heading down the slope after waiting for the sun to set. Do some wildlife observation this evening. And I was successful. I ended up finding two groups. Mule deer, one set of 4, one set of 3, feeding in different areas. And then I saw a pair of coyotes working down the valley and feeding, hunting for their evening meal. Unfortunately, they went up slope a little bit and got downwind from me and got my scent, and that they took off. They didn't like my company. So anyway, at least I was successful in seeing some critters, and so I'm heading back to the boat. As I said earlier, it's about a 400-foot elevation, I'm guessing. And going downhill is a heck of a lot easier than going uphill. It's getting chilly, though. I was warm going up. It's chilly going down here right now. The breeze came up a little bit, and once that sun goes down, it cools off really quick. It's still been cold at night. Every morning, the heater has to be on. Been everything from freezing to about 41 or 2 degrees. So it's cool, very cool, in the cabin in the morning, and So I usually turn it on and as soon as I get going. So not sure you can see it, but right there at the end of that little inlet, there's some green patch up there on the left. I'm just going to check to see if the deer are still there. They're not. So they probably saw me coming down and scared them. Anyway, they're with only, I guess, 200 or 300 yards away from the boat. Could have seen them from there. Up on top of the hill, I was able to see another 4 feeding in a different area. Interestingly enough, not very far from the cows, there were about several head of cattle that came over the hill, and the mule deer fed, I would say 200 yards, maybe 300 yards away from the beef cows, all Angus. Didn't seem to bother them. It's getting dark, the sun is down, so I don't know if how this hike is showing up on the camera, but you can see I got a green tarp up on the boat there trying to block the sun. Earlier in the evening I was setting out on the stern deck, and it was sun was pretty hot, so I put up a shade makeshift, and it worked. Although the heat even coming through that canvas was warm. Hell, the chair isn't as bad. Going downhill you really don't even hardly notice it, but going uphill I did. I was huffing and puffing pretty good. Hell, I better get that tarp down before it rips up. There's not much wind yet, but if it comes up during the night, I don't want it to tear. It's just a lightweight, used as a shade or to keep rain off the cockpit if I'm setting out in the rain or something. I haven't really used it for that purpose yet, so. All right.